And so, I don't know if that's going to beat the whole time.
No.
So I told you guys a little bit before, now that it's on here. So we're doing this on a live stream thing. So there's probably going to be, I think, people that log in on it and probably do some questions on it. I hope so. If they do, in the end, we always have a little time for questions. And so if there's questions on there, because sometimes, hey, I've been there. I've sat in a lot of seminars. I think it's real important to do it. My background is construction. It has nothing to do with dogs. So I worked in construction my whole life, went to college for construction management, got out, loved training dogs. I had real nice retrievers. I loved doing it. And I went to a school over on the west side of the state, Stout, UW Stout. And when I went to school there, a bunch of guys from Minnesota, they're all big bird hunters. That's when I got into real heavy retrieving stuff. Because I liked bird hunting. I liked handling dogs more than I liked hunting. I thought it was just awesome to see good dog work. I was always impressed by that. So my background was figure out how to do this dog training thing. And I loved it. And I feel like I got okay at it. I turned out pretty nice dogs. And so then a couple people found out that I was training some dogs. So then, can you help me train your dog? Yep, I'll help you. Then, can you train one for me? So it kind of evolved into training some dogs on the side. And then I decided I live in Wisconsin and I love deer. I love deer more than I like ducks. And so who here hunts both birds and, say, deer? Who hunts deer here? Who's got a dog here? I should ask that first. If you don't have a dog and you don't deer hunt, why are you bored? Like, there's nothing to do unless spend, right? But, so, who does both, birds and deer? A couple, about half, okay? So, it's hard to do both and do both well. I've found that. Because what does it take to do something well? It takes time. It takes a lot of time. For me to shoot a lot of birds, I have to scout. I spend more time scouting than I do shooting. For me to kill a big deer, I have to scout. I have to put food plots in. I have to do all this different stuff if I want to do it well. Now, I didn't do that stuff always, and you can still hunt. That's the beauty of it. But you don't have to do all that stuff, but your chances of having a lot of success aren't as good. So I ran out of time. I didn't have enough time in the fall to do both. So I switched from the bird hunting thing, and I focused on deer. And I grew up over on the western side for college, and got a great friend that's next to us, Bluff Bucks Outfitters. He's the booth next to us. I kind of hooked up with him, and I just realized I want to focus on killing big deer. And so, how do I use my dog? Now, remember, this is 7, 8 years ago. How do I use a dog, a retriever, to help me with deer hunting? There wasn't a fit. There was no fit for it because back then we couldn't track in Wisconsin. This will be our 4th year that we can use dogs to track. Great thing, one of the best things I think that's happened. It's been a movement across the U.S. I think there's 19 states, something like that have changed in the last 5+ years or something, ballpark. There's a great organization, United Blood Trackers. We're members of it. We're partners with them. So that thing has allowed for there to be a fit for these dogs or these retrievers to fit into my deer hunting. But back then there wasn't. So I had heard about some guys using dogs to shed hunt. So I read about it. I read an article about a guy that was doing it. And I thought, I really want to do this. So I tried figuring out how to do it. Well, there was nothing there to tell me to, show me how, anything like that. But if you go into the stores of Cabela's or Bass Pro or Shields or Mills Fleet Farm, any of those stores, you walk up down the aisles and you want to train a bird dog, all sorts of stuff. It's going to help you do that, right? Information, tools, all that stuff. So here I was, how do I do this shed hunting thing? Well, I did it like most people I think would. And I hear it still today. You don't need all that stuff, you just throw a shed. And can you do it? Absolutely. I guarantee you can. Here's what happened to me. I did it. I had gun dogs. I threw sheds for them. They understood that a shed, something like this. My dogs don't retrieve sheds because they like sheds. My dogs retrieve sheds because sheds equal retrieve. My duck dogs, train a lot of duck dogs. I have. This thing right here, got feathers on it, looks kind of like a bird, right? So my duck dogs don't retrieve ducks because they like ducks. They retrieve ducks because they've been bred to retrieve things. My duck dog today originally retrieved fish out of nets, retrieved nets out of water. They are retrievers. Labrador retriever, golden retriever, retriever. We don't train them to retrieve. They do it naturally. So I bring out natural retrieve in my dogs, and I condition certain things to equal retrieves. Drug dogs, bomb. I just flew in, was in Vegas Monday through Thursday. So I'm really dragging. It's tough, right? So 5-hour energies, lots of them. But I flew in last night to Chicago and drove here. Well, I was in Vegas, and on our way back, I saw a dog that looked just like her. Now, I was at a pet show in Vegas. I was at a show called Super Zoo. It was an awesome show. It was really interesting. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of stuff. I listened to these podcasts on the way there. This whole live streaming thing, I've never done it before. I thought it was weird. I'm a little timid about it. Well, there's this podcast that I'm listening to that my wife is big on podcasts. She improves herself all the time. Well, she talked me into listening to. Well, I had a lot of time to burn on the plane. I listened to them. So now we're doing this stuff because this podcast is all about how you use these tools. I have to adjust. I'll be an old dinosaur if I don't adjust, right? And I think dog trainers in general, you run into that. There's a lot of dog trainers out there that do the same thing today that they did 30 years ago that was done 30 years before them. And the reason is, I ask them all the time, because a lot of times it's not how I do it, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I think there's better ways to do it. And when you ask them, why do you do it that way? It's because that's how we always did it. Well, if that were the answer, we'd live in little huts. I mean, we wouldn't drive vehicles. If we did things how we always did it, we won't get any better. We won't move forward. So we have to. So we're live streaming. So that's our big evolution today. But with this, I taught these dogs that shape of an antler, smell of an antler, gets the same retrieve that the duck did, that the fish did, that the net did, that whatever. When I went to school, we had a little Springer Spaniel. My buddy did. One of my real good friends had this little Springer Spaniel. Beautiful little dog, really nice. One of the most annoying little dogs I've ever seen too, because boy did he retrieve. Anybody got Spaniel? I should ask. Who's got labs in here? It's pretty common. Who doesn't have a lab in here? What kind you got? Little tracker. Got a little tracker. Anybody have anything other than a lab? Chessies. Retriever. But definitely different, a little bit different style. Bloodhound. Great tracker. Totally great nose, right? But so there's certain things that dogs have been bred for hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, I lost where I was going with it. But so school, so a little Springer. So I got this little Springer Spaniel. My buddy did, and that little dog. We sat around a lot of campfires and we drank a lot of beer at college, right? So we sat and we relaxed and we threw a lot of sticks. And the reason we threw a lot of sticks was because little Morgan set sticks on your lap all night long. And why did little Morgan set sticks on her lap all night long? Because every time he did, the girls thought, oh, it's so cute, isn't that cute? Throw it for him, throw it for him, throw it for him, throw it for him. That little dog, we'd go hunting, and all of a sudden you'd look up and little Morgan would come with his tail. And what does he got in his mouth? He had a little stick. And he brought it up to us and we went, no, and walk away. Well, we were going back and forth of training something into that dog around the campfire at night, and then trying to train it out of him in the field. So a couple rules to live by. Don't train something into your dog today that you have to train out later. And that goes for everything. So part of today, what I wanted to focus on wasn't so much shed hunting, isn't so much tracking. That's the big theme here. We're deer hunters, and so we're going to use dogs for deer hunting. But the problem that comes up, so we did a DVD on tracking, we did a DVD on shed hunting. We've got a product line that helps you train both. I've had success with it. The reason I went to this is because when I took that gun dog and I pitched it for him, and he picked it up, brought it back, she picked it up, brought it back to me, and then I did it with another one, and I did it with another one, and I had success. So then I went, this is awesome. I'm buying a shed dog. I'm going to buy a puppy, and I'm just going to train her to shed hunt. So 6 months old now. Let's do an example. See the response of this dog. Wow. She's hot. She's got a lot of energy. But I'm going to use her for an example to make a little retrieve. So envision this. Now, she's 11 months old. So she is a little further along. She's going to unplug that cord. She's a little further along than the example I want. But at 6 months old, she just got done teething. So I wanted to get back into retrieving. And I had a little dog that loved to retrieve. She loved it. Her name was Finn. She's a great dog. So she ran up. I pitched an antler for her. And she ran up to it. And she jabbed herself. See that big one laying there? She ran up to it, was so excited. Yeah. Boom, she hit it. Yip, rolled over. Turned and looked at it, and turned and ran right back to me with her tail between her legs. And you'll see these little dogs are a little soft style dog. It's my preference. I like them. They're a little English lab. She came back to me, and she goes, nothing. I want nothing to do with it. So man, what did I do here? So I went over, I picked it up, and I pitched it. And I sent her, and she took off out of habit, because we had been doing this for a little while. So the habit took place. And then she got to where she saw what she was going to, and she stopped. She turned around. She came right back to me with the tail between her legs, and she was real prancy. She slid right in. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. I don't care how. I couldn't encourage that. I like to get behind dogs and support them. I couldn't support her enough to go get it. So all of a sudden I pick up an antler, and she goes like this. I pick up a shed. She wants to go in the other room. She hates it. I bought a dog to be a shed dog, and she hates sheds. So when I train gun dogs and bird dogs, I've never taken a young pup that I was 6 months old that I feel is going to be a real nice bird dog. And the first time it sees a pheasant, I'll put it in a pen with a rooster. Hope things work out. It's not going to happen. You know what will happen? You'll have a dog that's deathly afraid of birds. Because that rooster is going to make that experience really not good for that little dog. The little dog's going to come up to it. Oh, this wham, it's going to get a spur. It's going to get pecked at. It's going to get, wings are going to flap. You're going to have a dog that is turned off at the idea. Now, I am not big on training something into my dog today that I have to train out later, so avoid it, right? So that's how this came about. That's how Jeremy went to DeerFest 7 years ago. Because he said, I have an idea, will it work? Came up with a little prototype. It was a foam antler at the time, and I showed it to people, and they went, oh. The first thing they did was they took 2 of them, and they went like this, and they go, that's not going to work. It's not a rattling antler. I said, no, it's not a rattling antler. It's for training your dog. Ah, that's a cool idea. So that's what started DogBone. That's what got us going. So now, I'll show you. All right, what I want you to pay attention is she's got a lot of go. This little dog's got a lot of excitement. Good. Hold. Hold. Good. Now, what you'll see is she had a lot of excitement. So envision that running up on the hard horn for the first time. You can see where that could happen, right? Now, will it happen every time? No, I don't think it will. It might not. But here's the thing. You know how many people over the last few years have bought dogs to shed hunt with them? Lots. So why are we going to take a chance? I'm not going to. I'm going to take steps. When I introduce my bird dogs to birds, start them out with a balled up sock in the hallway. Then I go to a canvas bumper, one of these. Then I take wings to it, one of these. Then I added scent to it, some of this. Then I went to a cold game, then I went to a fresh killed bird, then I went to a live pigeon. I did all these steps, and I got these dogs to birds with a lot of success. So why not take the same idea with sheds? So that's what I did. And from that, we've kind of evolved. Now we're training some tracking dogs. We're going to have a conservation tool. It's going to help us find our... So this is all awesome, and people get excited about that. This is the first time I've ever done this seminar this way. So we're not going to talk about that stuff formally. But I'm going to talk about the stuff that happens before it. Because I don't care how much you want to shed hunt, track, birds, whatever. This one right here, this week, what did she get accredited as a...
Therapy Dog Alliance.
Some certification for therapy dogs. So since she was about 7 weeks old, we've taken her to a local school, and she's worked with kids that have autism and different cognitive disabilities. So she goes into schools. Now this one right here, I should have introduced, how rude, I should have introduced the dogs. So Kimber's about 11 months old. Sister right here, Ellie. Ellie's the same, out of the same litter, very different styles, and I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to explain a little bit about it. Taylor's the Whitetails Unlimited mascot. We had an opportunity to partner with Whitetails Unlimited. I feel really strongly about their group. They're great people. They're not about necessarily big deer. They're not necessarily about growing nutrition and all. They are indirectly, but the thing about Whitetails Unlimited that really appeals to me is they're big on family. They're big on the culture of hunting and continuing it. And to me, that's, I think, really, really important. Maybe trumps everything. So Whitetails Unlimited and us partnered with Taylor, the Whitetails Unlimited mascot. We kind of followed suit to, these dogs come from a kennel down in Oxford, Mississippi. It's called Wild Rose Kennels. Wild Rose Kennels has influenced me more than any other place when it comes to training dogs. Again, I'm not a dog trainer background, but they have influenced me greatly. Their dog is the Ducks Unlimited mascot. So they've had 2 of them now. This is their second one. Deke is now, Drake was the original. Drake, the Ducks Unlimited dog, happened when I bought my first lab. And I bought my first Wild Rose dog because of Drake. So when I saw that, it touched me, and I go, I want one just like that. Well, if DU hadn't partnered with Wild Rose Kennels and Drake wasn't there, I don't know that I would be doing this today. But that was really powerful to me. So I thought about it. I thought, boy, that was some brilliant marketing between Wild Rose Kennels and Ducks Unlimited. But beyond that, business-wise, it helped me. And I guarantee I'm not the only one. So I started thinking, and I went, okay, we got this new business. We're trying to grow this thing. How can we be creative? When you're a startup, and anybody here have an entrepreneur owns their own business? Because, man, it's a really interesting ride. It's really interesting. And I am learning so much from it. I'm learning so much. But I've learned really quickly, especially today, or this time period that we're in, you gotta get creative. You have to be creative when it comes to stuff. I gotta get creative with training dogs sometimes. I have to get creative with marketing a business at times, all the time, because our budget's really little. So I reached out to Whitetails Unlimited. They're from Wisconsin. They're from Sturgeon Bay. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from last hour away. So perfect, nice fit, right? Reached out to them. We partnered on this dog. I've already had 3 or 4 people today come up. Well, you guys right here. These guys right here knew her from the magazine. They go, oh, that's Taylor? Yeah. I said, yeah, how'd you know? I thought maybe he was stalking me. I didn't know. But no, he saw Taylor grow up from little. Anybody ever seen North American Whitetail TV? So we partnered with those guys. Man, you want to talk about an opportunity? I'm pretty lucky. I'm really lucky because I've been able to fit with some really great partners. Well, NAW TV, gosh, I don't even know how, it came through Gundog Magazine because they're owned by the same company. Well, Gundog Magazine and us partnered to do DVDs. So they reached out to me years ago and they said, can we do a shed hunting DVD? Do we understand you're into this shed hunting stuff? Yep, we can do it. We did a tracking one at the same time. Coincidentally, they're owned by the same company that owns North American Whitetail. My little brain starts thinking on Saturday night when I'm sleeping, I go, what about a little segment, a little dog training segment? Anybody ever see our segment on North American Whitetail? It's called Developing Your Deer Dog. You're the ones. You're the ones. So it's been a great tool for us because despite the numbers not showing it in this room right now, a lot of people have seen it. But I think, so the whole idea is people have seen what we're doing with the dog, and I have had people email me and text me and call me and say, I love what you're doing. I love how you're doing it. Well, that to me is powerful. That's really motivating. So I get excited about it. Well, so we did it with her. So she's the Whitetails Unlimited mascot. She goes around. She thinks she's a big deal. But she does a really nice job. These pups are legacy dogs of ours. So if you go back to our booth after this, there's a dog on the back. Her name was Finn. Finn is the one who started this whole thing. Finn's had a puppy. Her puppy's name was Drop Time. I met Drop Time's owner at a DeerFest show 5 years ago, 6 years ago. She's all right. She's all right. So when that dog was a client's dog of mine. It was one of Finn's pups. I trained it. Loved the line. I loved the legacy with it, the lineage. Real nice style of dog. Her pup, that dog, I kept the rights to breeding-wise. We did all the certification stuff. We brought her back down to Wild Rose Kennels, to a great dog. These are puppies from that dog. So these guys are 3rd generation DeerFest dogs, because they've been there. You go back, their grandma was the first one. So here's the thing I want to talk about with this seminar, because we always talk about, we typically do a shed hunting one. We typically do a tracking one. And the problem that comes up is that people get excited about it. It's hard not to get excited about shed hunting. It's fun. It's awesome. There's a competition going on here. It's a really fast-growing sport. It's great and it's awesome to think about tracking, because who's lost a deer here? Who's ever shot a deer and lost it? Don't be afraid, because I'll be the first person to say it's happened to me multiple times. If you're a hunter, you'll lose one. It's inevitable. If you haven't already, it'll happen. We don't want it to. That's why I like training these dogs, because the chances are minimized. But that's fun. That's exciting. That's awesome. But if I said, hey, we're going to do a seminar about obedience, I had it happen. There was a gal walking through the aisle, had a dog. She walked through, and her dog was at the end of the leash. Anybody ever see someone's dog take them for a walk? You're supposed to take them for a walk, right? Well, most of the time, I see it all the time where dogs take their owners for walks. I can't stand it. I cringe. I was at the Super Zoo show, and I watched a lot of dogs that weigh under 5 pounds drag around adult people at that show because little fifi dogs were pulling everyone around, and they went where they wanted to. I don't like that. I can't stand it, I'll be honest with you. But I saw it out here. So there's this little dog, not a little dog, but probably about the size of that one, at the end of the lead pulling her owner down the aisle. And she came up, and the dog was stretched out and leans into one of our dogs on the beds, and that's fine. My dog's not going anywhere. I'm more than comfortable with it. But I said something about, you know, what are you here for? We're going to do this trial. So that's cool. It's awesome. So she said, I said, we're going to do a seminar in about 45 minutes. She said, what is it on? I said, foundation work, obedience stuff. I don't need that. I was hoping that it would be more advanced. I just watched a perfect example of someone who needs probably some foundation work. Here's the thing. Whatever we're working on, shed hunting, tracking, upland, waterfowl, police dog, drug dog, bomb dog, name a working dog, any working dog. If they don't have a solid foundation, you won't have a lot of success. You will get so far off of natural talent. It's a lot like sports. My son just left. I make analogies to sports all the time because I'm a big sports fan. Well, if you have a really good athlete, I've seen this a million times. He plays on some teams that have kids that are super athletic and they have zero fundamentals. And they will get really far when they're in like 2nd and 3rd grade because they just run circles around kids. They jump them. They're really athletic. But pretty quick, the rest of the kids develop skills. And all of a sudden, skills are more important than just natural talent or sheer athletic ability. And those athletic ability kids, if they don't work on their fundamentals, they don't get anywhere. Nowhere. This little dog, this little dog, this little dog. I can go and I can show you all these pedigrees. I can show you all these backgrounds. And they're really nice. They've been bred for years and years and years and years to do certain things and excel at them. They come from field trial winners and field trial champs and international field trial this and all these titles. That's what a lot of this stuff is about. People want to have title. Titles don't mean a damn thing to me, okay? Because I think it's important to have good genetics, but I also think it's really important to culturally raise them in a certain environment. I think you can change things, good or bad, depending on what you do with them. But the bottom line is the obedience, the foundation. Heel, sit, stay, come when I call you. If you can do 4 things with your dog. So a lot of times when I talk about obedience, people get turned off and that's boring. It is. It's not as fun. But the thing that I think people get turned off is they'll see my dogs and they'll see me walk through here and they'll go, look at the time, man. I can't even believe how great of a trainer a guy has to be to do something like that. I'll be the first one to say I'm not that great of a trainer. Pretty damn consistent. I do things over and over and over and over again when it comes to my dogs. Sometimes my dog training needs to be applied to my life. So I learn things, dog training, that help me in business, help me in raising kids, help me in trying to be a better husband, all that stuff. So that's why I love dog training, because I think it can be transferred to just about anything. I've met some really good trainers, and I've met some that I just don't think are very good. And some of the ones that I don't think are very good are professionals. They get paid to do it. They've got resumes, man, really nice ones. And then I've met some school teachers that I think are better teachers than those dog trainers, better trainers than those dog trainers. And the reason is, I think, is a lot of times those teachers have it. If you're a teacher and you get paid to teach kids these days, you've got something that is very, very valuable when it comes to dog training. It's patience. So one of the biggest things that we struggle with is patience. We have a lack of patience as a society, like with everything. So I think by building this foundation, by building this stuff, you can turn out really nice dogs. So I think people get turned off or get a little intimidated by the idea that they'll see these dogs, they'll see them on their beds, they'll see them walking through the crowds and not being distracted. And I don't know if anyone else has watched, but this dog's eyes haven't left me. And I haven't talked to her for 10 minutes. I haven't done a thing with her. But she's settled in real nice, and I'm real glad because she's my example of one that's not going to be very good. So I like dogs that make mistakes. I like dogs that make mistakes in seminars. Because guess what? When you go home and you try this with your dog, guess what will happen? It won't look exactly like up here. It'll be a mistake. How do you fix it? That's the question. That's where people go. screw it, it doesn't work. That guy's full of it. Well, I used to sit in seminars just like you guys. I watched so many of them. I'm not saying, here's my weakness with the podcast stuff. I listen to a podcast. She's turned me on to a few of them. She's turned me on to a few books. I listen to them. I don't read them. I'm not a reader. But I'll listen to a book. And I'll listen to it, and it's got a philosophy or a theory that's talking about it. And when I leave, I go, there it is. There's the answer. And I just practice it. And then about 3 or 4 months into it, I realized, well, that doesn't work in this situation, or maybe it doesn't apply to this. And I go, damn it, now what? I got to find another book. Well, here's what I'm missing. I need to read a whole bunch of books. I need to pick out certain parts of them that work for me and figure out how to make my own. So when it comes to dog training, I used to sit in seminars. I still do. I still will. I'll listen to anybody tell me about dog training. I was in Vegas this week. There's a gal there. We're doing some business with her. She owns a store. She's a training, grooming, breeding, all sorts of stuff. We started talking, and you've been at a trade show. Anybody ever been to a trade show? About the third day into it, man, it sucks. It's really bad. Your feet hurt. Your back are sore. You just, sometimes people will walk by and you'll just try to engage them. They're not even a buyer. Why am I wasting my time? They've got an exhibitor's badge on, and I'm trying to talk to them because I just want something to go on. It's slow. It's real slow. It's not like this. So this gal comes by and she starts talking about training, and I start talking about training. An hour later, my partner goes, "Dude, we gotta go. Like the show's over. We gotta go." But I got some energy out of talking to her about just fundamental, basic training stuff. But the thing about this training for me is, I like it because it gets me excited. I like it because I can use that dog right there, and we're going to use her. I'm going to have someone else, because I want to show this. The obedience and the foundation is real important. How do we get it? Well, there's some ways. This dog right here is a sister to that dog. Right now, who looks better trained? I mean, I'm watching this for the last 5 minutes. Who's the best dog right now? Well, probably her. Close your ears a little bit. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But I'll be honest with you, right now, I think this one is. Personally. Not from what she did the last 5 minutes. Because of my training. Now, I shouldn't say that. I'm a jerk. You're pretty good too. But the thing about these two dogs is, they're sisters, identical genetics. I raised this one from about 10 weeks. My parents had her for a couple weeks, and then I took her at about 10 weeks old. This one was started by a friend of mine. He's a great trainer, real good trainer. He had her for probably 4 or 5 months, and then I took her back. I got another one. It's in the truck. It's a sister of these two. And another great trainer, friend of mine, took that dog to get started for me because I'm behind. I got a 3-year waiting list for dogs right now. I don't like having other people start my dogs, but I had to. So I did. So these 3 little dogs come together. And I got this one, and I go, I can't wait to get Kimber. I can't wait to get Trigger, because I know what Ellie's all about. And Ellie is nice. She's smooth. She's soft. She's extremely patient. She's a nice little dog. So these other dogs come back, and this one comes back, and man, can that dog retrieve. Like, you wouldn't believe. Like, that dog's retrieving at 6 months old, what most of my dogs are doing at about 11. Like, way advanced in retrieving. But I can't hardly heel that dog, because she's so go. She's 2 steps ahead of me all the time. I don't like that. I like position. I'm real fundamental. I want this precise. So I went, golly, I got to do something to do that. I got to find balance. So here's about dog training. We're finding balance constantly. But what happened was, so I bring her back, and I go, she retrieves the lights out. She sucks at steadiness. I can't throw a bumper without her braking on me at a distance. I can't use, now you just saw, see that? Break. So, not what I want. Not what I want. But look at her. Look at the energy. Well, she's an athlete. Illy. Now here's her sister. Now just watch her mannerism. Just watch how she moves. Watch her flow. Come here, Ellie. I've had her for about 4 or 5 months. She's still breaking up. So I get frustrated. My blood pressure just went up. Like, I get upset when I see that. But you know what? Man, look at this one. Ah. I'm sorry. Ellie. I see her move. Watch when I walk up to her. Watch when I walk up to this one. See the difference in her body language? That one is relatively, I can feel the calmness out of her. This one, she's ready to light the fuse, man, and go. Poof. She'll blow up. Her, she's seen this a million times. Ain't going anywhere. So, 2 different dogs out of the same litter, raised in a little bit different situation. Now, it's hard to see real drastic differences right now because we've balanced them out. This one, over here, you can see she kind of crept a little bit. Ah! Now, I'm going to let her find it. I'm going to let her bring it back, and I'm not going to praise her a whole lot. Good. Victory lap. Who's got this problem at home? Come on. See. Now, so, is that 3rd or the 4th time that dog's broke, right? Whose fault is it? Is it little Kimber's fault because she doesn't listen steady? No, it's my fault. I set her up to fail. She broke on the first one. I was a little surprised with that. After that, I wasn't so surprised. See. Now, she's gotten pretty nice on heel. Ah! Do you think I could have held her back from here to there? No, she's gone. Right? So, by me setting this up for success, did Kimber break on me that time? The yellow one? No, of course not. She's on a lead. She couldn't break. So I changed one little thing. There was a guy out there tonight that was talking to me about, he's got a dog that's real high energy, jumps on some people when it comes over. Real nice hunting dog. He doesn't want to train any of that hunt out of it. That's his concern. So he said, what do I do? I don't want to change this hunting drive with it, but it likes to pick stuff up and carry it around all the time. I don't want to turn it off, and I don't want to turn dogs off either because that's natural retrieve. I don't like turning dogs off of that. So I said, well, he said, I just can't figure out how to fix that. Ellie, sit. He just can't figure out how to fix that. I said, pick your stuff up. If you pick your stuff up and your dog can't get at it, your dog won't be able to pick stuff up. If you've got a dog that chews on shoes, put the shoes away. He won't chew on the shoes. Teach a dog to go on place, he won't run around your house and make a mess. What is all that stuff? That's all basics. It's all fundamentals. It's all real. Now, in order for me to do a drill, what do I need? I'm going to do a little more formal drill for you. So we're going to take her, sit, you're not you. See, she has not earned the next drill. So she's going to stay here. Just sit. But Ellie, how many times did I throw things for her and she didn't go get it? Well, that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of her for that. So this is a drill. This is a drill we do for shed dogs. It's a drill I do for a duck dog. It's a steadiness. It's a steadiness drill. It's a denial. It's going to be a retrieve. Eventually it'll be a delivery. Neither one of these guys are real solid delivery yet. We'll get there. Good. 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 A little nicer delivery out of her, right? She doesn't have the tendency to want to run and do the victory lap. I believe that has to do with her cult, but she's been brought up to be a little softer, a little calmer. I won't allow that hyperactivity with her. Where that one, a lot of emphasis was put on retrieve with her early on. She still has it. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find balance. So what we just did with her was what I call a little bit more of a formal retrieve. So formal drill. I walked her out, I dropped this, and here's the reason, here's the background why we did it. So I threw these a couple times, my dog ran and got it, that one ran and got it, brought it back. When was the last time you were shed? Anybody ever hear shed hunt? Who's shed hunting? Anybody ever see a buck run through the woods and drop its sheds in front of you? You're a liar if you say you did. I've seen it on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube once. But so if you here's not your fault, but I can hear her. She's trying to take her for a walk. So she doesn't know her from Adam. But watch what she'll do when I hold on to her. Bet you she won't drag me. I won't have to tighten this lead at all. Ellie, sit. Sit. So, when I sent this dog on the retrieve, I threw it. Well, the reality is you will not. I like training the way we hunt. My dog doesn't see bucks flush up and drop antlers. So I have to train him to pick them up off the ground. It's a bridge that has to be made. So, that drill that I just did, I heeled the dog out, I dropped a bumper. Turned around, I heeled her back, I made her sit, made her wait a little bit, made her be calm, patient, sent her on a retrieve. Well, with my gun dog and my bird dog, I like dogs that are nice and steady and steady to shot, steady to flush. Birds come in, work, boom, 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 we shoot 3, 4. Dog doesn't break, marks. When I want the dog to make a retrieve, I'll send it. So I build that patience in. This little drill will do that. So I'll do the same drill with the bird dog. But what am I doing with the shed is I'm heeling out, dropping it, turning, coming back. Sending the dog. Dog picks it up off the ground after a delay. Well, what does a dog do when he finds sheds? He finds them on the ground, picks them up, and brings it back to you. I can't tell you how many people go, the dog will find it every single time I throw it. I can't throw it in a place that they won't find it. But they see it laying on the ground, they'll run right up to it, and then they just keep moving. Well, they're looking for a little more exciting game.